This alliance, which has evolved into the AES Confederation since the historic Niamey Summit on September 16, 2024, and which is intended in the near future to transform into a federation, God willing, will allow us to secure our common space and truly encourage us on the path of development. What we have achieved together, for the first time in our country's history, is that the decisions affecting Niger and its people are made in Niger by Nigerians and in the interest of Niger and nowhere else.
Par des Nigériens et dans l'intérêt du Niger et nulle part ailleurs.
Africa is done playing the role of a puppet, and Niger just sent the West a message they'll never forget. The leader's fiery words weren't just a speech, they were a declaration of war against decades of oppression. He laid bare the sinister tactics being used against Niger, embargoes, fake news, and even financial terrorism. But the real question is, can a small Sahel nation outsmart the global superpowers pulling the strings? Let's find out.
Faced with their failure, instead of aligning with the ongoing historical movement in the Sahel, and acknowledging our political choices, our enemies, nostalgic for their neo-colonial dominance, and determined to protect their interests, have devised, with the complicity of certain Nigerians and renegade Africans, a new approach methodically articulated around the following actions. 1. A media campaign organized against Niger, its allied countries, and their leaders at all levels. 2. A Machiavellian strategy to undermine cohesion between members of the National Council for the Safeguard of the Homeland, CNSP, on the one hand, and between the CNSP and its government on the other, with the complicity of certain Nigerians. 3. A diplomatic campaign targeting all countries and sub-regional, regional, and international institutions to demonize and isolate our country. 4. Nigerians, my dear compatriots, as you can see, those who oppose us because of our political choices have merely changed their methods. Through their perfidious and subversive actions, they continue to wage war against us. This is an opportunity to pay a heartfelt tribute to our defense and security forces, who often, at the cost of the ultimate sacrifice, protect the integrity of our territory and ensure the safety and stability of our country. To their widows and orphans, may they find here an expression of our compassion and our total support.
First move, embargoes. The second move is propaganda. Third move, sabotage. These aren't just policies, they're weapons. Niger's leader openly called out how Western powers manipulate media and choke economies to make nations kneel. Niger's leader didn't just deliver a speech, he exposed the calculated strategies used by Western powers to keep nations like his in line. These aren't just policies wrapped in diplomatic language, they're weapons of control designed to crush resistance and enforce compliance. The imposition of embargoes, for instance, isn't about fostering accountability or dialogue. It's a deliberate move to choke a nation's economy, causing shortages, inflation, and hardship for its citizens, all with the hope of forcing the government to bow under pressure. But economic warfare alone isn't enough. Manipulated narratives and propaganda campaigns are deployed to erode trust in the leadership and sow discord within the population. Through international media outlets and online disinformation, Niger's defiance is framed as reckless, its leaders vilified, and its people portrayed as victims of misguided governance. These efforts aim to fracture national unity, making it easier to justify external interference, while turning public opinion against the very people fighting for sovereignty. Behind the scenes, sabotage deepens the attack. From covertly supporting opposition forces to fueling internal divisions, the goal is to destabilize the country from within, making governance nearly impossible. By orchestrating chaos and portraying it as a natural consequence of independence movements, these powers aim to maintain control without ever appearing on the surface. What Niger's leader made clear is that these tactics aren't new, but by exposing them, he has disrupted the narrative. This fight isn't just about standing firm. It's about rewriting the rules of engagement and refusing to let these weapons of control define the future. And they're not just targeting Niger, they're doing this across Africa. Why? Because they're terrified of a truly independent continent. But what happens when the West's favorite tricks no longer work? What happens when African nations and the locals stand against external pressure?
It is also an occasion to pay tribute to the entire Nigerian people, our fellow citizens in cities, rural areas, and the diaspora. I would like to tell you that I am fully aware of what you are enduring in terms of hardships and the high cost of living. I understand the sacrifices you are making for our regained dignity, for the sovereignty of our country, and for ensuring that our beloved Niger remains standing in independence. I commend your resilience, your courage in the face of adversity, your patriotism, and your sense of history. You have chosen dignity in suffering over comfort in servitude. Moreover, the numerous citizen contributions to the Solidarity Fund for the safeguard of the nation, despite the challenges of the moment, are the most striking signs of this spirit. These contributions demonstrate our collective commitment to doing everything we can for our country. This renewed mindset is one I applaud, and for which the nation will be eternally grateful.
Et tous éternellement reconnaissants.
Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. When the people of a nation take action, the entire dynamic shifts. It's no longer just about governments or leaders. It becomes a powerful, people-driven movement rooted in unity and determination. Citizens stepping up to fight for their country fosters a deep sense of national ownership, bringing communities together to focus on shared goals like sovereignty and progress. This unity becomes a force too strong for external powers or internal traitors to divide. Grassroots involvement also builds resilience against external pressures like sanctions or embargoes. When people are directly involved, through contributions, protests, or collective efforts, they become more willing to endure hardships for the sake of long-term independence. Their active role ensures governments remain accountable, knowing they are being watched by their citizens, which drives greater transparency and alignment with national interests. Moreover, the actions of a united population don't just impact their own country, they inspire neighboring nations. When locals lead the charge for sovereignty and progress, their determination creates a ripple effect, showing others that freedom is achievable. This challenges global power structures while strengthening regional unity. And what happens when nations unite?
The alliance of Sahel states, which unites us with Burkina Faso and Mali, brother countries that are resolutely at our side. This alliance, which has evolved into the AES Confederation since the historic Niamey Summit on September 16, 2024, and which is intended in the near future to transform into a federation, God willing, will allow us to secure our common space and truly encourage us on the path of development. Then we decided to diversify our partners and from now on, place our diplomatic relations within the principle of mutual respect, equality, sovereignty, a sincere, balanced, and win-win partnership that takes into account the interests of our country.
Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, they're not just allies, they're a full-blown resistance movement. Together, they formed the Sahel Confederation to push back against Western dominance. Think of it like this. ECOWAS used to be the West's enforcer, but now these three nations are flipping the script. The Sahel is officially closed for neo-colonial business. But how long before this confederation becomes the West's worst nightmare? Here's the tragic irony. Niger's leader didn't just blame foreign powers, he called out traitors within their borders. Certain Nigerians and renegade Africans are helping the enemy, selling out their people for a seat at the table, and many belong to ECOWAS. That's why the African nations are slowly leaving ECOWAS.
First, as you know, our country has decided, with two other brother countries, Burkina Faso and Mali, to leave ECOWAS. This is an irreversible decision, as it has been long and carefully considered. It is part of the process of regaining our full and complete sovereignty, an indispensable condition for our security and development. Within the framework of the Alliance of Sahel States as well, it has the merit of having definitively removed from foreign powers and their African henchmen any means and any legitimacy to wage war against us through ECOWAS, instrumentalized and diverted for several years from its noble objectives. I would therefore like to reassure all Nigerians, and beyond that, all our fellow citizens of the AS Confederation, that leaving ECOWAS will not lead to chaos for our countries and their nationals.
This isn't just betrayal. It's a stark reminder of how neo-colonialism thrives on division. Leaving ECOWAS is more than a political decision for Niger. It's a move to reclaim sovereignty from a bloc often influenced by foreign powers. ECOWAS has repeatedly acted as a tool for neo-colonial agendas, enforcing sanctions and policies that harm member nations while benefiting external interests. By stepping away, Niger can refocus on its priorities, deepen its alliances with Burkina Faso and Mali through the Sahel Confederation, and build an economic framework that serves its people, not foreign powers. This bold decision could inspire a ripple effect across Africa, encouraging other nations to prioritize their sovereignty over outdated structures. But how do you win a war when some of your own are on the enemy's payroll? Here comes unity.
Niger and our confederation will continue to maintain good, neighborly, and cooperative relations with all the countries of our West African region, as is the case with the 42 other African countries members of the African Union and the some 180 member countries of the United Nations who are committed to peace and justice. In any case, I want to reassure our fellow citizens of the Confederation that all measures will be taken to address any eventuality.
Unity is Niger's most powerful weapon against betrayal. When traitors work with foreign powers to sabotage their own country, division becomes the enemy's greatest ally. But Niger has a plan. Unify the people under a shared vision of sovereignty. This means exposing those who prioritize personal gain over national interest and ensuring they face consequences. When betrayal is revealed, it fuels collective resolve and strengthens the nation's spirit. Unity isn't just about addressing internal threats, it's about building alliances. The Sahel Confederation with Burkina Faso and Mali shows how nations can join forces to resist neo-colonial tactics. As this alliance grows, it has the potential to draw in more African countries, forming a regional bloc too strong to undermine. This vision of solidarity not only counters external pressures, but also inspires a new wave of African independence. The message is clear. When Niger unites internally and strengthens alliances externally, betrayal becomes powerless. What starts as a fight for one nation could become a movement that reshapes the entire continent. And as the country steps up, the signs of progress can be seen.
Indeed, as you know, this year, Allah has blessed us with a fruitful rainy season. The rains have been abundant. Also, they have certainly caused significant material damage and bereaved our families. In this regard, I have a pious thought for our deceased and salute the efforts of all those who have supported us to face the emergency, and in particular the National Committee, which has proven that Niger is sovereignly able to manage such a situation. But the rains have especially allowed us to have abundant harvests and pastures. I therefore invite all the competent state services and all Nigerians to learn all the lessons of this winter season so that the rains in our arid Sahel are no longer synonymous with flooding, destruction, desolation and death. Because they are a great blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the Hausa adage so well translates, which says, Ruwa latara. On the other hand, I call for rigorous and responsible management of the benefits of this winter season by preserving our pastures from bushfires and managing our harvests as good heads of families that we must all be.
Nos récoltes en bon père de famille que nous devons tous être.
So, if you think Africa is not doing good, you need to change how you think. The narratives pushed by Western media are not just misleading. They are deliberate lies designed to undermine the nation's sovereignty. Western media outlets, often controlled by entities with vested interests, craft stories that serve foreign agendas, not the truth. Their portrayal of Niger as unstable or reckless isn't an objective assessment. It's a calculated strategy to create division, confusion, and distrust among the population. For Nigerians, the solution lies in vigilance. Ignoring these narratives means recognizing the tactics at play. By labeling Niger's efforts to reclaim its sovereignty as radical or irresponsible, the media seeks to fracture national unity and turn citizens against their leaders. These stories are designed to make you doubt your government, your community, and even your role in this historic struggle.
Finally, I invite all Nigerians to stop paying attention to the lying, defamatory messages spread on the media and other social networks. They are contrary to our traditional and religious values. They help to distract us, to keep us away from the real public debate on our vital and strategic interests, at a time when we are truly at war against our enemies, who are trying by all means to break our living together, to prevent our resolute march towards progress. That is to say, the time is rather for vigilance to thwart the campaign of intoxication and disinformation undertaken by the sponsors of terrorism in the Sahel to undermine the morale of our troops, incite ethnic hatred, and break our social cohesion inherited from our ancestors.
The truth is that these narratives are not for your benefit. They are for those who stand to lose power if Niger succeeds. Western powers rely on disinformation to maintain control, and Niger's refusal to conform threatens their grip. The media, acting as their mouthpiece, will continue to amplify lies, distortions, and half-truths. The best response? Trust in your voice, your community, and your leaders who have exposed these manipulations. Focus on building unity and resilience, knowing that the louder the lies, the closer Niger is to true independence. The battle isn't just for land or resources, it's for the truth. Refusing to buy into these narratives is an act of defiance and a step toward a stronger, sovereign Niger. Niger isn't just fighting for itself, it's fighting for every African nation tired of being told what to do. This speech wasn't just words, it was a battle cry. So, what do you think? Can Niger's defiance change Africa forever, or will the West find a way to crush this rebellion? Let us know in the comments section. Is Africa ready for change? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.